Hey everybody, this is Marc D, licensed professional counselor, marriage and family therapist, life coach, and here's another crumb from the kitchen table. I have been talking about our stories we tell ourselves that we think's the truth, and how it gets us in trouble with others, especially our spouses, when our stories don't match, and we end up fighting about reality sometimes. And so what I suggested last time was, if you're open to feedback, you can open up your window of understanding and begin to see a bigger picture, and adding new information can change the story you tell yourself, where maybe you're not a victim like you thought you were. Maybe what you thought was happening wasn't really happening, but that was a reenactment of something that's maybe happened from the past. And so I'll tell you a story about how that is true in my own life, and I think everybody's lives. So I grew up in a home where I didn't always feel listened to, and again, that may or may not be reality as well. Even our childhood stories, although they have a lot of content, a lot of the feelings that we've experienced, I know doesn't mean that it was true. Nevertheless, that's stored in me as a cellular memory that can be easily provoked later, even now, years later. So the story that often happens, or it used to happen for me, was when I was trying to express myself to my wife, trying to feel heard by her, and didn't feel like she was reciprocating, I would escalate and get mad at her, because I began to believe she didn't care about what I had to say. And I had this belief inside of me, a trigger inside of me that was really, really hot, really powerful, and it would prime me to react to her with a big assumption that she didn't care about me, about what I had to say, and deeper than that, she didn't love me. And so there's a time when I came home and she was busy reading a book, and I felt like I had something important to tell her, and the more I tried to get her to listen to me, the more she appeared to be not caring about what I had to say. And only until we took a time out. Now, by the way, I'll be honest with you, I ended up grabbing a piece of her jewelry and I threw it across the bathroom and crushed a piece of her jewelry. I'm not proud of that, but that in that moment, I was completely believing she didn't love me, didn't care about what I had to say. And I was protesting that experience I was having with myself, as if she was the one causing me to feel that way in that moment. What I didn't realize was, later she shared with me that she felt unsafe. And the more I protested her not listening to me, the more unsafe she felt. Now, the way I read her behavior was not caring about what I had to say. And because when she gets scared, she can't speak, that's why she wasn't speaking. But my interpretation of her not speaking was that she didn't care about what I had to say. And because I couldn't read what she was thinking or feeling by her body language. Her body language was not computing to me as scared of me. It was computing to me as she doesn't really care about me. What does that say? It means that everything I was feeling was happening on the inside of me, and it wasn't a real thing happening for her. As much as I completely believed she didn't care about me, didn't care about what I had to say, as much as I completely felt and believed that, it didn't mean it was true. So finally, when I began to accept feedback from her that she was scared, and as I was able to remember times she does care and did care about what I had to say, and times when she did love me, I had to challenge myself around these beliefs and where they came from, and actually prayed about it. And God reminded me of times when I was a kid, when I'd come home from school and I needed help with homework, and I felt stupid at the time. I didn't feel very valuable and important and special and smart as a young person in school, and my father was good with academics, and there were times when he was either too busy, or he was overwhelmed and stressed himself, or he was reading a newspaper, and he just didn't have the time for me then. And back then, that was still about me. I didn't know how to ask for what I needed, which was emotional support. I wanted somebody to tell me I was smart and that I was capable. I didn't even know how to ask for that myself. So I can't really blame my father or my mother for that. I had to take ownership of that even now, looking back. I didn't know how to ask for what I wanted. So all that to say that until I was able to really accept the feedback from my wife that what was her truth, she didn't feel safe, and she in fact does love me and does care about what I have to say, I needed to deal with some earlier things that happened in my life to make way for me to have to be safe for my wife, and that became the real issue. I ended up apologizing to her because she felt threatened by me as I was on the kind of the warpath, because I was convinced that she didn't love me and care about what I had to say. I was convinced of it. The good news is I was wrong, that she does love me, does care about me. And so if you get curious about your spouse, get curious about what maybe is going on under the surface in your own life and those around you, you will find a better way to solve these kinds of problems in everyday life. So again, I'm Marc Dunwap from the Kitchen Table, and I hope you enjoyed this crumb from our kitchen table to yours.